Gonna take it slow, when I'm loving you. Oh, gonna take it slow, when I'm loving you.
Welcome, everybody. We are here for a open, fun night of discussion on several court cases. We're going to talk about Karen Reed. We're going to talk about Alec Baldwin. I got some fun memes and fun little videos we're going to see. It's just a night where we just kick back and say whatever we want to say. Everybody can join in and comment, love, like. Appreciate you. Excuse me. I have been playing with my Stream Deck, and it is not been cooperating. So we're learning. You know how that goes. We all learn. It is always a learning curve. We're gonna switch that one. There we go. Had to do that. So thank you so much for coming in tonight. It has been a long day. For those of you who do not know, what? Oh, okay. Let me introduce. Come here. Here. Up, up. Oh, give a good stretch. Up, up. Come on. Up, up. No. That is my puppers. Come here. Touch. 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 You got to get up here. Come on. Come on. Up, up. Good. Oh, come here. Good girl. This is my puppers. This is my little girl. Okay, go under. Place. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. My little girl wanted to get in on the action for a minute. I think she gets a little camera shy. But I am Ada K. I am your alternate juror. And we're here tonight just to talk about the different cases and give everybody an opportunity to say what they want to say, as long as it's respectful. Everybody can just kind of join in. People can just, be a part of it. It's kind of hard to stop and really talk and dive into some things when you have court going and everybody's trying to get through court. I welcome to my studio. As you can see, I have two cameras now, where I had one, this one, and that one. And let me tell you, when this one is up, there is no hiding. So everybody gets full access tonight. And I'm so grateful for it. Mr. Recovery Addict, once again, thank you so very much for assisting me and getting my technology up. However, oops, I can see the camera here in the background. Oh, well, it's discreet. However, I got to call you again on one other thing. The Stream Deck. It's a cool device. It has a bunch of buttons, and you can push it and sound automatically plays, but you got to program it. And it's been a hot minute trying to get that thing programmed. For those of you who watched court today in the Karen Reed trial, we're going to revisit part of that testimony. I am not going to go over all of the phone data. That was just a lot. But we are going to talk about a lot of individual parts of it. One of the things I want to focus on is really, what did the medical examiner say versus the doctor, Marie Russell, who is beyond qualified. beyond qualified. And I feel it's important that we kind of dive into some of that a little bit. Down. Thank you. My little girl is telling me it's time to go home. We normally head home about this time every night. So, yeah. Let me make sure I'm on the right. Make sure I'm on the right one. Yep, I am. Okay. I was on earlier doing some tests of my sound, and a bunch of my mods hopped on, so I'm waiting for some of them. My takeaway from this week's trial: prosecution took way too long. 68, I believe, 67, 68 witnesses. They really could have done with a whole lot less witnesses on this case, in my humble opinion. One of the things that kind of got to me in the beginning is a lot of people were testifying to a lot of the same things, and I think they really could have trimmed down that list just a wee bit on that. This week, I got to try and remember who we started out with. Did we have what, 3 days this week, 4 days this week of trial? 14th. Let me look. So it's been, when you have a trial as long as this one, it is very, no, it was the 17th. Okay. On the 17th, who is texting me 20 times? So we started on the 17th, and we're going to do a quick review. I'm going to do a quick recap. I don't have a ton of notes for this week, unlike I did. Here we go, 17th. Okay, so we started the week with Trooper Joe Paul. And honestly, this is more about the Sally Port and the mirrored situation where they introduced a video and it was mirrored and did not discuss that or tell that or share that with the jury. Some of the things that also got me is that they talked a lot about the lights, a lot of that evidence about the car and the pieces. One of the things that caught me is when they reconstructed the tail light, they had every single piece except for two little slivers. I kind of questioned that myself. That's in my humble opinion. Then they brought on, who else? Gosh, Nicholas Corino. They brought on Dr. Mary Russell as a voir dire. Visited with her. Then they visited Ruth with another Dr. Andrew Chester. I don't remember his name. Then we have again the 20th, the voir dire of Marie Russell. That went quite a while. I was blessed and happy today to see that they did allow her to come on. Then we have Dr. Renee Stonebridge. She came on, and we're going to get into all that. I'm going to wait till we get some of our peeps on here, but I really found it very interesting in the difference between the two Emmys. You have an Emmy up from New York who is more of a neurological focused medical examiner. She deals more with the neural system in the brain, and that's all fine and good. But when she came into court, y'all, in a green lace strapless dress with tattooed sleeves, look, I have no problem with that. But when you enter in a courtroom, Lord have mercy, y'all, dress appropriately. Oh, it was a slap in the face to the courts, in my humble opinion. In my humble opinion, uh, I'm looking for something. I'm going to do something funny for a moment. There's some people doing some parodies. about the judge, and we'll see. Okay, so um, let's talk a little bit about the doctor who came on first. She was talking more about the contusions versus the minor hemorrhaging and then the major hemorrhaging and everything that had happened in the brain. She said it could be caused and was caused by a blunt force trauma. Well, that's all fine and good, but neither one of the MEs would hammer it down to what kind of blunt force trauma. The second ME that got on there, oh my gosh, y'all. First of all, dressed impeccable, appropriately dressed for court, brilliant lady. Prosecution tried to corner her, defense tried to corner her. I felt she held her ground. So we're going to go over some of hers because I do want to talk about some of hers. We also have the Reed trial that we're going to, not Reed, I'm sorry, Alec Baldwin's motion. The rest armor does not want to cooperate and testify in the Alec Baldwin trial. We are going to go on to that. And then just do some fun things in between. Right now, I think I did something I didn't want to do. I sure did. Let me go back and find it. I shall. I shall. How did I find it? Oh, snap it. I cannot believe I lost it. All that work and I deleted everything. I guess that's what happens when you um, try to do something funny. There's a woman who does some funny stuff, and I wanted to show it. We need some lightheartedness going on in here, and I'm not finding it. I'll find it in a minute. If you are live for the first time, say hello. Let me know you're here. Thank you for joining. Please hit subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. Maybe I can find this way. There's a woman on Facebook that does the funniest parody of the judge I have ever seen. And she looks like her. It's awesome. I will find it and show y'all that in a minute. Let me move y'all over here. Hey, Karen. Karen, thank you so much. I accidentally deleted all the videos I had on Facebook with the judge. I was mortified. I had all of these Facebook videos with the judge that was absolutely hysterical, and I accidentally deleted them. So maybe we'll find them again. Did I find them again? I don't know. I know they were brilliant. This woman was freaking brilliant. And I misplaced them. I mean, didn't misplace them. They're gone. They're gone. I'm like, wait a minute. Here's the lady. I found the lady. Yes, I found her. Yes, we got them. Woohoo! Now I need to get them reels. I bet they're in her. Yeah. Let's do one. All right. I'm going to pause this. I'm going to share this. I got to adjust the layout. Oh, let's see if this works. I'm going to bring her on. I need to come back up here. Look at this. Bring to stage. I don't know if I can make it bigger. We're going to try.
Hey everyone, today is our wedding anniversary. 27 years married,
Not
10
the one I
years
want.
dating.
Nope.
So being the Aquarian that
This is the one I
Today
want.
was one hell of a week. It's Judge Bev here, Auntie Bev to you. I'm about to get on 93 South down the Cape. I'm going to go to Dennis,
Okay.
a
I'm
dentist
better
port.
than this, y'all. I'm tired. I've
And
been doing this all day.
today I went a little bit
Start
over.
all over again.
Hey everyone, today is our wedding anniversary. 27
Today
Here
was
we go.
one hell of a week. It's Judge Bev here, Auntie Bev to you. I'm about to get on 93 South down the Cape. I'm going to go to Dennis, a dentist port. And today I went a little bit over, about 15 minutes over, but I couldn't take it. I saw Lally get a little lollygag in there. That was impressive. And I said to Jackson, don't say of course to me. What does he say? Of course, Your Honor. And then there was a little snaggly where I said, oh, I totally blew off the exhibits. All I meant, don't get in a tizzy like you figured something out on me and it's a big mistrial, is I just forgot to put them in evidence, okay? So I did it that next morning. So just simmer the fuck down, okay? Judge Bev here. It's been a tough week. I'll see you on Monday.
Didn't mean to do
I'll
that.
allow it. Today was one.
Okay,
guys.
here's another one. Here we go.
Hey, Judge Beverly Canoni here, just with the daily recap. So this morning I came in early, and what a bitch that was, right? I was stuck in traffic coming up from the Cape, and we did a hearing, and Unetti was talking down to me like I work for him. And I had to say, Mr. Unetti, who are you trying to convince? Me. There's no jury here. So I gave it to him. And then, Proctor was up there and he was saying all this terrible words, and I had to actually have him say the see you next Tuesday word, which was terrible, but you have to do it. Otherwise, it's like reason for mistrial.
Yes,
So I'm
we're
like,
going to do that.
wasn't that your words? Didn't you say that? And then I just, I give a lot of breaks and I need a break. So break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Is this even in evidence yet? Madam Court Reporter, do you have this? This isn't in evidence? Is it 857? Is it 867? It's 8675309. Jenny. Callbacks for Canton Confidential. Thank you again for coming back in today. And whenever you're ready, slate your name, please, and then you can go right in. Maureen Hancock called back for the role of Judge Beverly Canoni. And action. Morning, jurors. We came in early today because we had some things that we had to discuss, and you couldn't be here for that. But one day this week, we're going to bring you back in, and then we're going to send you right back out and then bring you right back in again because we need to go over what we need to go over. So we're going to give you maybe 7 breaks that day, and but we'll figure it out. It's going to be one day this week or no days this week. But we'll see you back in here, and then you're going to go right back out. So.
I think that's it. Is that not funny? Down. Is that not funny? I'm sorry. I thought it was funny. I thought she did a good job on that. This week, the biggest things this week, I would have to say, and y'all help me out here. Was the inversion this week? Or was that last week? Everything is running together, y'all. It really is. When you look at a binder this thick full of notes, it all starts running in together. But we did start on day the 17th. Just a lot of tail light. They kind of Trooper Joe Paul. Why can I? I don't know if I can stream it live. Am I allowed to? Yeah. So tell me why I would want to and am I allowed to? I don't think I am. Let me know what it is you're wanting to stream. It may be on hey, can you stream? I don't know. That I want to check into. But um anyway, the thing about that is they went from her backing up at 24 miles an hour over about 60 feet and hitting him and 3-point turns and all that to almost like a side swipe. I'm like, did he get hit or was this a side swipe? Which is it, y'all? Because right now I'm not following you. So the GPS, they talked a lot about that. One of the biggest things that happened was Dr. Marie Russell. She came on. They did a voir dire on her and a couple other people. Oh, hey, if it's on YouTube, yes, I can find it and I'll stream it and we could do a split stream, which means I'll have it in one window and we'll be talking in another window. So if you can find it, CG and Text on YouTube, a lot of times it will be there. 5K tonight. I don't have a TV. Oh shoot. Okay. Let me work while we're doing this. What is the name of the event? I don't. Duh. Let me see. I'll start the trial in a second. I don't. If somebody can find it, I'll for her. I will. Let me see if it's on YouTube. Two months ago. 1 month ago, 2 months ago, 1 month ago, nothing. Is it tonight? Or was it already happen? Because if it was Olympic trials, ooh, I don't know. Let me do it this way then. Mm. Mm. If I can find it live tonight on NBC USA. Oh, I do have YouTube TV. Oh. Maybe I can because I have YouTube TV and I can play it at the same time we talk about out the other stuff. Swimming, track and field. Okay, I'm going to go there. Okay, let me do this. I'm going to bring this down, put this over here. Oh, come on, cooperate with me. Let's see if I can share. Oh,
She is headed to Paris in this event with Reagan Smith.
okay. So we'll keep an eye on it. But for the moment,
Reagan Smith, what a win. What a week she's had. What a week. And you know, to go 205 on
okay.
her 12th
So
swim.
I'm going to remove from screen now. How do you like the way I finalized? I finally got an angle that's decent. So I'm going to turn the volume down. I'll keep an eye on it. We'll get going on the trial. Is that okay with you guys? Oh, no, 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 no. Is she family, friend? Anything I can do, babe. Anything I can do. If I get in trouble, I'll claim I didn't know. But I don't see why we can't if I'm sitting here commenting on it. What I might do is turn off the volume, okay? Are you okay with just watching it and not having the volume on? Retrial. Here we go. Okay, mods, I need your help with this, y'all, because I can't remember everything. So y'all please comment. Y'all join in. This is for all of us. If anybody wants to call in and join that way, well, I don't have it plugged in, but I'll plug it in. Okay, in the retrial, one of the things that we noticed is that we had to have some voir dires. And the biggest one, I firmly believe, was the one of Marie Russell. And the reason why, I'm going to get me off the background. I don't need that. Okay. I just don't want to get a strike, but if I do, I'll eat it. Okay. But we're really there's mods. Do you think today was the biggest day in all this? Because I don't think we really had any new evidence. We've had a lot of evidence about the phones today. They talked a lot about that. But mods, help me out here. Because I got to admit, I'm exhausted. Okay, I can handle today. It's previous. My brain is a little bit okay, I'm going to do it this way. It's a lot easier. I'm going to move my coffee cuz I got papers. I don't want to ruin them. One of the things they talked about is the fact that Canton PD, state troopers, all of that. None, I know, ask Ronnie, right? She's not on. None of them actually did a whole lot when it came to the I'll get it. I'm going to do this. Oh, thank you. Okay. So when it came to Trooper Joe Paul, he has zero mechanical experience, no education. He took some classes in forensic reconstruction, and he tried to put all this together. If I'm remembering correct, let me go back here. Talked about the Sally Port, why they took the vehicle to where they took it. No big deal there. He was told in advance that this was a car versus a pedestrian, and he was assigned to reconstruct that. That kind of frustrated me because he didn't just look at the evidence and let the evidence lead where it led. They told him car versus pedestrian. So that kind of tainted his view on what he would find. Glass pieces. Oh, the glass pieces they found did not match the cup. Talked about the shoe and the different pieces of plastic. Oh, this is the big thing about his testimony. He based he had this diagram and pictures and everything, and I probably can pull that up. Diagram and pictures and all of that kind of stuff. And the big problem with that is those diagrams and pictures were nothing was measured out and placed exactly where it was. In fact, he never even knew exactly where John O'Keefe's body was found. It was all an estimation. When they went and started talking to, here we go. Is this it? Here we go. I got one. I'm going to open it. Um, I'm going to window. They're still on swimming, y'all. Okay, here we go. Let me get it up. Do it this way. Nope, this way. Remove. I want this. I can't do it. How about that? Okay, we'll do this. So this here is the diagram that he brought in, which is, hi, Karen. Hi, Ronnie. Ronnie, we're talking about Trooper Joe Paul. Throw anything in, I forget. But he created this using GPS. But what got me and everybody is when asked, how did you take your measurements? If you look closely, I'll see if I can get it even bigger. Okay. You see, final rest was here, glass cup here, flagpole here, shoes. And I have the same question that Cross asked, and that is, where are you basing this from? Where are you getting the point of origin or the pedestrian's final resting place? And he said, well, based off of video cam and estimation. He did not have an exact. So in other words, they didn't put a flag. They didn't outline his body. Now, remember when they removed him from the snow, there was grass under him, meaning there was an outline of his body, sort of. But you could tell exactly where he was because it was grass. Everything else was thickly covered in snow. So this is taken a while later, this drone image. And if you notice, there's snow everywhere. It's covered again. So they didn't put flags up to indicate head, feet. They didn't do anything to preserve the position of the body. They, of course, didn't have photos because they were too busy trying to preserve life. That's fine, but they did not mark anything. Am I right, Ronnie? And so the challenge was for the prosecution and the defense was hammering on, how can you tell us that it was 4 to 6 feet, 10-ish feet, 30-ish feet? From what point are you measuring the head? He goes center mass of the body. Well, how do you know exactly where the body was? Well, I was shown where the body was. So this was highly contested. I don't think this went over well. What is your opinion, guys that watched? Please comment. I would love to have a bunch of comments in here. So that was something that was highly contested by the prosecution. And then we talked briefly about the vehicle. And one thing that frustrated me was the vehicle, the way they had it, and I'm going to share it. Let me get it up. Is that they took a picture of this part of the car. This is John O'Keefe's car. Now let's look at this vehicle. And guys, don't hesitate to join in. Please let me know if you hear me. Look how clean this car is. For a car that is sat out in the weather, in the snow, questionable by far. Look how pristine this bumper. You can see a little bit here and a little bit there. But if you look at Karen Reed's vehicle, you see the salt watermarks left by the snow. And look how clean this is. This vehicle has been detailed. Look how clean that muffler is. I think these pictures, oh good, I can just do this. I look how clean that is. I think these pictures were taken as if they were going to sell the vehicle. I don't know, but that's the other thing. Right here, this vehicle, we don't know exactly when this was taken, but they're saying there's no damage to the vehicle. Then they're again talking about then of course we're going to get into the autopsy in a minute. He is talking about, this is something else that I noticed. This is the GPS or the coordinates from John O'Keefe's phone. And once again, that's right. The plates are 204 tags. Good catch. Forgot about that. So let's look at this here. This is taken from his phone, which was found under his body. Really? Under the body? That's not the way this works. So I might as well just move this in front of me so I'm not bouncing it. So you're coming up. Oh, can you still see my hand? Let me see. Yes, you can. I'm going to cover that so I can see everything at once and look straight. So these arrows are showing the position of the vehicle, and it shows that his phone that he had on him while he was in Karen Reed's vehicle. Now, the prosecution kept stating that while in the vehicle with Karen Reed, this phone came up into the grass. This is where she hit him. Y'all, he got out of the phone. They say the phone never was in the house. But look at the pattern in which this goes. If you see here that coming from the top under the word cover at 316, 341, it's hugging the right side. And look how it goes around where the mailbox is. Who was parked there? That's right, Brian Higgins. And then it comes in. So obviously she went around the vehicle. So you got a vehicle here, possibly, depending on if what's her name was picked up. Yeah, always fall on top of my phone. Ask my broken phone. Yeah, I know. I had a really nice brand new phone. I came out of the bathroom at a powwow and hit my hand on the thing that sticks out of the door, knocked it out, and shattered the whole back glass. But anyway, this is the pattern, and that's something that I thought was interesting. Was this shows that she went around a vehicle? She didn't just go straight. So to me, that was an important find. Let me get. No, we were going to go back because I didn't. Snow. Okay, sorry, you're seeing all my screenshots. So we've already discussed this. Anything else we need to discuss about him? Oh, they were talking about his qualifications, and he does not have a qualified, he is not a bachelor's degree. I think he said he had like an associate police type degree that you get when you go through the police academy. I'm going to stop sharing this. When you go to police academy, and so that is what he had. He had taken some courses in accident scene reconstruction. And when they were talking, I have no idea what that is, but okay. So what happened is that cross-examination, they were going on and on about, he was being asked about all of his that. And then the defense came in on cross and was asking him, can you determine by the speed, basically I'm paraphrasing, by the speed of the vehicle, the size and weight of the vehicle, the size and weight of the victim, and the impact, would that break the tail light? He could not even begin to tell you if that was possible because he didn't have a degree in physics or whatever it was. So the cross, I felt, kind of nailed him. He didn't even know how much John O'Keefe weighed. He was talking a lot about that. Okay. So we're going to speed ahead because then we had the voir dire, but we're not going to go into that because we're going to talk about her right now. Who is here at 7:01? I don't know who's here. Someone just came in our door. Oh, my son is live. Why is he here? We close at 6:30. That's interesting, but oh well, my son got it. Okay, let's talk about the Mrs. Dr. Marie Russell. Y'all, I love that little old lady. My God. Everyone says hi, son. I'll tell him. Mrs. Russell is like brainy smart. She is like so mega smart. She was a police officer. She went to MIT med school. She's did emergency room. She was the head physician in the ER for years. She was in forensics. She is pathology. She's been what is it when you do the autopsies? That person, I'm sorry, I mean, she's just a list long of what she's done. But the biggest thing that she's done is that she has written many, many papers. No, we're not even to the Emmy yet. This doctor had written many, 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 many papers. A pathologist. What else is it that does the anyway? She wrote several papers and co-authored papers on dog bites, police dog bites. She worked in an ER in LA, one of the busiest ERs in the nation. Saw many dog bites, from minor to severe. So they did a voir dire on her. They brought her. Now that was yesterday. Then they brought in Dr. Renee Stonebridge. She was pretty up there too in a lot of ways. She's more of a neuro ME. They did send his brain to them. She looked at a lot of the information. I'm sorry if y'all are losing me. He had a massive contusion here, a hemorrhage, one here, one of them. Then they had finger. It was just a lot of stuff going on from the brain injury. Now, one thing that they did talk about, but the second medical examiner I felt did a better job of it. She talked more down at everybody's level and not up at a doctor's level. Was saying that the brain injury, which was a blunt force trauma to the back of the head, caused the brain to swell, cause bleeding, and that pushes the brain down into the brain stem, and that is what can cause severe brain damage or even death. But one of the things that happens when you have a brain injury, which I know this because I see it when I'm on accident scenes, especially with motorcycle victims, is brain injuries. If eyes start swelling, start bugging out, that's a classic sign of a brain injury. So I don't want to get into all the injuries he had. I know, right? He had he had several little hemorrhages, some bigger ones. Then we had Dr. Ivini Scortabello, ME. She was phenomenal. I really appreciated her. Cause of death was a blunt force impact and hypothermia. She once again talked about the skull fractures, talked about the hemorrhaging, tears in the skin on the back of the skull. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to use this. If you use something like a glass, which can be a blunt force, this can be blunt force. When you use a blunt force and it hits, and I'm going to try to make a mark on my hand. You see that mark on the palm of my hand right here? Here, let me see if I can do it here. See that mark on my arm? Nope. Hand better. There we go. That mark on the palm of my hand that goes across, it's turning red. So when you have something like a glass or something that comes to any kind of a point or thin and it hits, it's going to push the skin down and then split the skin. The skin's going to be pushed down, and then depending on how bad, it will open up. The trauma was enough to where it fractured the skull. Right. Now, what happens when you get a impact from something more flat like this, say a hammerhead hitting flat? It's going to pretty much explode the skin. It's going to push the skin down and then out. Kind of creates almost a tear, kind of like a tear. And what was described was more of a clear linear line. This is just my own medical limited knowledge. I'm not a physician. There were small hemorrhages in the stomach, which is very consistent of hypothermia. There was tear in the skin. The alcohol was extremely high. It was at 0.21 blood, but when you pass away, when they do an autopsy, they withdraw the fluid in the eye. That is metastasized a lot slower. I actually knew that, and it was at a 2.8 versus the blood at 2.21. So that's pretty high content. The body core temperature was 80.1 at 6:59 a.m. Once again, don't forget they were warming him up on the way to the hospital, and they drilled a hole basically into the shin bones on both legs, started a warm IV solution, and all that kind of gory stuff. And you can still see it on my hand. So anyway, that was warming him up. So he was in the 70s at least. Anything under 95, which I already knew, is considered hypothermic. FYI, always considered hypothermic. So she was phenomenal. The problem we had was some of the mental notes I made about this was that they, being i.e. the prosecution, I don't even have my notes from today. Then after she testified, they did the voir dire. Today they come back. When we came back today, okay? When they come back today, we had the doctor again. We finished with the doctor. Now, today, but, I thought I had more notes than that. I may have taken them out. One thing that I want to talk about quickly between the two sides with this medical examiner, of course, the prosecution is trying to get her to admit that the damage on his arm was caused by an actual car taillight impact. That's what they tried to get her to say. She didn't bite. She didn't go for it. She could not say. Blunt force trauma of some kind is what she was basically saying. She did not rule it a dog bite. She didn't really think it was a dog bite. But once again, your MEs do not get a lot of experience in dog bites. There's not a lot that they see dog bite wise. Why? Because they deal with persons who have been killed or deceased, unattended, and so, or for whatever reason they deem necessary to do an autopsy. Problem with that, very few people die of dog attacks, and if it is, it's evident. Okay, so the prosecution really hammered in, tried to get her to say, okay, if someone's how is the skull bone real thick? And yes, it's kind of thick. Yeah. Could an impact with the vehicle cause that blunt force trauma? It's possible. Everything was possible. Nothing was probable. Everything was possible. She would not commit. Now, they did ask her, did anybody attempt? Oh, that's what I wanted to say. I got to find that. Did anybody attempt to sway you or change your opinion? Change your opinion and all of that. And of course, she actually said, I'm looking for it. I don't know if you guys caught it. Did y'all catch it? I thought I wrote it down and started. Where did that happen? Was that today? Did y'all catch it? I'll just say it. It may not be word for word, but she used the word we. What I said was, I think that was it. What I said was, I'm missing pages here, y'all. I don't know what happened. Okay, here's some more. Oh, here it is. I found it. I love it when I find things. Okay. A continued direct was she reached out for more information from Canton PD because she could not have had, she needed more information to try to determine the manner of death. She spoke to Trooper Proctor 2 times. And when asked, did he or anyone try to sway or change your question, basically, the response was, when asked, being persuaded. So she said the word was, and that was really interesting because was means what I said was. What I said was. So she said no, and I wouldn't do that. But then when they re-asked it again, a little more specific, her response was, what I said was. That was huge. I hope the jury caught that. To me, that was huge. Also, there were some bruising on the back of the hand, on the wrist, and around a knuckle. But she's thinking that on the hand, because there's 2 punctures, could have been an IV. Problem is, nobody started an IV in his hands. Nobody attempted to start IV in his hands. So that was an issue. She did confess this is not your classic pedestrian injuries. That was huge. She did see a photo of Karen Reed's car and the injuries to John O'Keefe. He is 6'1", and there could not rule out blunt impact to the head, but did not present as classic pedestrian injuries. Y'all, that is huge, huge, huge. That is something that if I was the defense, I would capitalize on. That's pretty much it on her. Okay. So now we're going to get into the snowplow driver. And we won't spend much time on him, but the snowplow driver, I did turn off an extra light because it's kind of dark down here. But anyway, Brian Lothran, he was driving the snowplow that night on Fairview Road. He arrived for his shift at 2:15, started at 2:30. He drove the Franken truck to the Emmys, the second Emmys. Oh, wait. Okay, it's a commercial. I saw running. I was like, wait. Um, um, from what I've heard, they were more attentive to the second Emmy versus the first Emmy. I'm pretty sure the first Emmy just kind of put them all off. I mean, she did have a nice sleeve tattoo, but very unprofessional looking. She may not have had a coat. Okay, put a lab coat on. It would have been professional. You're welcome. So he drove the Franken truck, as they call it, because it's pieced together. It's not built for exactly. It's not the way it was built. It was pieced together. It had an air ride seat, so you can raise it and lower it. He raised it high enough to where his knees were touching the steering wheel was kind of touching the knees. He could see over the hood very clearly in both ways. I know she looked like she was going to go out to the club and hoochie mommy around. No offense, she could be standing on the corner of 5th Street in Austin. Just saying. Very unprofessional, and they're not professionalism. So anyway, he got in and he could see very clearly. It's high, it's big, he could see clearly. And so 12:30, 12:35 was the first, well, 12:45-ish was the first pass on 34 Fairview. Saw nobody, saw nothing. Nothing. Oh, we'll see her in a minute. Then, but what he did see was Alberts had a car out in front of their house, which he said was unusual. They have a policy that when they're plowing in bad weather, you're to remove the vehicles from the street side, curbside parking. And so the policy is for him to contact his boss. His boss was to contact the homeowner or police and have it requested to be removed. And if it was not removed, then it would have been towed. They're still on swimming. So it would have been towed. That would have been the normal procedure, but as a courtesy to the Alberts, he knew them, sort of. He did not do that. Then he came back for a second pass about 3:15, 3:30-ish. That's when he saw the vehicle on the second pass, not the first. I'm sorry. The second pass. He did not see a body in the yard. He didn't see anything in the yard. And he is tall enough. He's sitting up high enough that he would have seen it. Remember, the first time he drove by, the snow was not as thick, and he stated that. But by the third time he drove down, it was accumulating really quickly. On the third time, he was iffy about his time. Now, he presented very well for the defense. I thought he did flawless, but he kind of got He kind of got eaten up by the prosecution on the time. Lolly had a great time with him. I was worried for a moment, but I felt he held his own. And once again, these people are nervous. They're not used to being on the witness stand. They're not used to doing this. They've not really had much training. He did meet with Jackson and his team twice for a short time. I think he said Thursday and Saturday, or Tuesday and Saturday, which is common. So anyway, he said 3 hours between his second pass and third pass. But if you do that, that puts him there at 6. He said 5 a.m. he made the third pass and he saw the state troopers, or 5:30-ish. Guys, I'm not too worried about his time frame since they come place. Just go to sleep. It solves a lot of problems. So, a lot of people were fussing about his inability to remember that time. Well, let's think about this. You may not remember everything about that night because, first of all, you're not doing your job thinking that you are going to have to. Let me do this. No, I don't like that. Let me come back a little. I'm trying to get that camera out of the view. I don't like having that camera in. There we go. Oh God, now I'm gonna raise it. Oh, that's better. But the thing is that when you um he was also questioned about the fact that he had accidentally hit a kid's basketball pole thing. You know how they have them with the water or sand weighted bases, and you have your basketball pole. I guess it was too close to the street and he couldn't see where the curve began and ended, and he accidentally hit it. So, one of the down. One of the things is that he said that Fairview is almost like a thoroughfare through that neighborhood. And so if it's a street that's used like a thoroughfare, they have priority. If it's a side street that comes off of it and it's not a thoroughfare, those are second priority. So every time he went up a street and came back, he's looking up and down Fairview to kind of see what the conditions are. So if he has to go back and replow that and then come back and do what he's doing. So I think he struggled the most there. Um, he says he believes he would have seen a body, and then, of course, I think that was objected to, but it did come out. He did speak to Trooper Paul and told him about the Ford Edge. Then they grilled him. They said, "Well, didn't you not know what kind of vehicle it was? Didn't Paul take you out and show you in the parking lot?" Kind of tried to whitewash his testimony. He goes, "No, it was a Ford Edge." He goes, "Isn't it true it could have been a Jeep Cherokee?" And they asked, "How do you know the difference between the Jeep Cherokee and the Ford Edge?" And he said, "The Jeep Cherokee, I believe he said, has the square, and I believe he's correct, lights on them, where the other has more circular." Who owned it? An Albert. Yeah, the Alberts owned it. And then they said, "Where did you see it?" He goes, "If you're looking at the house, it was on to the left near the flagpole." And then they said, "Well," and in a report, he had said, he is such a freaking crybaby. In one of the reports, he had said that that it was parked near where the body was found. Okay, facing the house, left side of the street, same side of the street as the body, near a flagpole. The body was near a flagpole. Well, when asked, he did make the comment that he did hear and see stuff on the news, and he recognized the position where they claimed the body was, and the vehicle was in that vicinity. So they tried to hammer him. I'm proud of him. He stood his ground. Let me see. Anything else? Oh, he was asked on redirect before they ended his testimony. "Did you ever see a black Lexus?" He said, "No." He said, "Did you see one at 5 a.m.?" They said, "No." "Did you see one at any time that night?" They said, "No." I believe the jury would have found him credible as well. He was respectful of the Alberts, but he was honest. He doesn't know Karen. That's right. He did not know Karen at all. You must have listened to somebody I listened to, because I was going to bring that up. He's from Canton. Karen is not. He does have a friendliness with the Alberts. So for him to sit there and say what he said is the truth, I wouldn't want to go up there and testify against the Alberts. So he really doesn't have anything to gain or lose other than maybe his job. And that's a lot. Then we get on the defense's direct of Dr. Marie Russell. I'm trying to read. I'm in pencil. She has treated well between 500 and 1,000 dog bites, if not more. She did review the hospital records, the photos, the autopsy photos and records and reports, the photos from the hospital, the grand jury testimony, pathology, everything. And then she said something that put everybody's head on a pivot. In her voir dire, they asked, did she see anything from the Canton Animal Control, any reports, any photos of Chloe the dog, any of that? And she said she did not recall or believe she had. So today, when they asked her what records have you reviewed, she did say Canton dog bite reports, and they said objection, sidebar, kicked the jury out of the room, turned the cameras to the fan, and they were gone for 10 minutes. Oh, we were sweating it, y'all, because depending on what happened, they could throw her out. Because in the voir dire, she said no. So they came back. She was still on the stand. Thank you, Jesus. She went on with her testimony. I'm going to jump ahead to the redirect. He immediately nailed her on that about that information. And basically, what she had said was that I had not seen the file. They sent it in the form of a Dropbox. And let me tell you, she may be able to use a computer, but she was saying it was a computer. I struggled with it. I didn't know it was there. I didn't see it. I did view it last night, yesterday. And that did kind of set some people back on their heels. But here is why I don't have a problem with it. Let's say she did not know or review that. That's driving me. There we go. Let's say she did not know or review that file. What happens is if she goes back, looks at all of that, whatever evidence that she missed, then she goes up for the voir dire. She realizes there was something she didn't see. She goes back to the hotel or whatever. She finds that, gets that information. She looks at it. Why would she do that? In my humble opinion, she would be doing that because she wants to make sure that whatever is in there doesn't impact her opinion. If she looks at it and it still doesn't change her opinion, then it's solid. If she looks at it and it changes her opinion, then she needs to testify differently and notify the defense and prosecution. I had no problem with that, but I know legally there was some issues. I was fine, Ada, until Ada got my nerves in a ball. LOL, but we didn't know what was going on. I was like freaking out. Yo, oh my God, yo, was she? I freaked out. Part of that's just for fun. But no, I was getting nervous because when the judge cuts that court and everybody goes, it was like, holy crap, what is coming down? Okay. I did not write a whole lot down for her testimony because I kind of remember everything from the earlier, so I may be flipping pages. So let's talk how she came into this because she was not on the witness list. That's why the voir dire happened. On 5/17 of 24, she spoke to the DA in LA because she's on the East Coast and had a subscription. Was it the Boston Tribune or whatever their paper is? And saw a news article about the case. Now, she admits that she may have seen things in the past. She couldn't remember if she had a 6-month or a year membership, but she didn't sustain it. And she didn't pay any attention whatsoever to any of the court stuff. But what got her attention was the word dog bite. So okay, guys, I'm going to share screen. Okay, let's see if I get kicked off. So you'll have to tell me, CG and Tex, when she's coming on, what she's wearing, so how we can identify her, and then I'll pull my head off the screen when the race is being run. I think that's awesome. Somebody from Bernie, Texas, whoop whoop, is in here. Okay, I do not want anybody, do not type anything about the O word or anything. Do not type anything about anything because I don't want to get in trouble. Okay? All right, let's get back to this. So, she felt that she could be of assistance after seeing whatever she saw. She contacted the DA in LA. They put her in contact with the defense's lawyer team. They emailed back and forth. So that's how she became involved. Is it the 100 meter or the 500 meter? Oh, we got about 30 minutes. Yeah, it's only, I have a lot of people I know in Boney. So, fine. Okay. So we'll keep our eyes on it. Okay. So, this really was an issue for the prosecution. All right. Gotcha. And that was an issue. So, I'm going to flip back to the other book because I have all her notes in there. Their uniforms are getting me now, or their regalia, whatever you call it. I'm native. I call everything regalia. Um, I gotta find the Vordier. Okay, I can't find it. I'll just tell you what I remember. Anybody have a question, just kind of, or comments, just kind of pop them up there. Okay. Okay. One of the things she did agree with is basically the head injury. We didn't have any problem with that. We can watch part of it, but I think running through is going to be better. She talked about, I don't want to put the picture up right now. Let's do that since this is not what we wish to see. I'm going to remove it. Okay, and I'll bring it back. I didn't get rid of it. I promise you. Trying to bring up the picture. Okay, they did not bring up the picture, but I have it. So let me get the picture up. Okay, guys, this is a gory picture. Warning. Okay. No, she was not. I'm watching. I'm keeping an eye on it. See, I think I can play it in my ears and your. Yes, I can. Y'all can't hear that, right? Only when I share screen can you hear it. Okay, so she is saying that these here, this is a curved mouth pattern, but these two here and these here are bites, and she believes some of these are claw marks. This here and here is a puncture, this is a puncture, this is a puncture, and that's a puncture. She believes that oh, I didn't share it. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, there we are. Okay, let me do this. Okay, so this here are punctures, these are punctures, and she believes these are punctures. So, and these are definitely scratches. with a puncture at the end. That's deep. And so she states that she believes that those are definitely animal and claw marks and bite marks, but it is not a full blown bite. That is something that she did make clear. It was honestly, I think when you do this to block yourself, to me, it looks like the dog bit this way or something kind of hard this way, but bit on this part of the arm and close down with paws. But she's adamant that those are dog bites. And if you've seen as many as she has, I believe her. Um, she too was, oh, they had a false start again. She too was um, within the realm of reasonable medical probability that this was a dog bite. She was able to say more on more definite than the ME was. Ronnie, do you have anything to add? The underneath of the arm, they did say was not no bites or anything. Now, we are going to look at some of the injuries. I mean, get the picture. Hmm. Okay. I got this screaming in my ear, y'all. Okay, so we're going to share screen. Once again, I'm going to go here so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to zoom in here. So these are her the notes from the medical examiner. I am going back to this. And as you can tell, there's a lot of stuff. He had a collar, he had a breathing tube, he had the paddles, he had everything he had for the medical intervention. He did have a few scrapes on the back of the arm. I'm going to come in here and zoom in. He had on the back of the hand here, he had a scrape on the side of the knee. So that was there. Nothing on this is what I wanted to see right here. Okay. So he had a cut above the right eye, which we have seen and heard of. Oh, oh, we still want to. I want to see it. Um, and he had a small hemorrhage above here. He had some abrasions on his nose. Everything we've been told, but this we did not see, and you could not see. That was the abrasion on the back of the head, gut, and then the abrasions. But this is interesting. These were the fractures of the skull. Back here, here's the cut, and the fractures came, and then you had some hemorrhaging on the inside of the brain where these lines are. This is the right eye and the left. So there was a lot of injury. And then when asked if this was caused by a car or a fight, she said she couldn't determine the manner. I mean, she knows the cause of death, which is blunt force trauma and hypothermia, but the manner of which she couldn't determine. And they really, really, really tried to nail her. Really tried to nail her. And she wouldn't bite. And they asked questions like, could it be um, a fall? Could it be a car? Could it be a fight? Whatever. She did make a comment that she felt that if there was a fight, there would have been more abrasions. Something wrong with my sound? Is that better? Yeah, we are having rain. Is that better? There were abrasions on, there would be more abrasions on bruising on the knuckles and all that. Oh, he was pissed. She wouldn't give it to him. One thing that I commented on, I said, look, if you walk up and hit somebody behind on the back of the head and they go down, how many of us have seen bar fights or seen in movies or whatever or seen real fights? God, in my high school, there was a fight every Friday. It was like fight night, Friday, fight night. And they would meet at a deserted parking lot and they would go at it. And these kids would get knocked cuckoo and end up on the ground and they keep hitting them, keep kicking them, keep grab them by the collar and punch them a few times. Hold on. Third heat of the women's 100. We're not there yet. So the thing is that they're saying because he did not have enough wounds. As soon as his race is over, I'll put it on because it's a short snippet. As soon he because he did not have enough wounds on his hands, you cannot sit there and say that emphatically that he did not have a fight. He wasn't involved in a fight or confrontation because if he was blindsided and got hit on the back of the head, then he may not have been able to defend himself. Oh, she had to tell him to speak up. Then she fussed at him about the way he was asking questions. He was talking over them. We're going to watch that part. This is the third heat of the 400. Um, and we ended pretty much right there. I am ready. But the big thing was, as a medical examiner, was not going to pick sides for anybody, not at all. So I'm keeping an eye on this. I think the noise was because um, I have the fan blowing, and that may have affected it. Can you hear any problem now? Does it sound better? So I'm going to clear this up. I'm going to push play. Let me do this. I'm trying to get this geared up. Okay. So, yeah, I think it was because the fan was blowing on it. I am hot. I know I'm hot. Aren't I hot? Oh, have y'all noticed? Okay, no, I'm not married. Um, oh, what is this? Oh, one of the girls lost her mama June 8th. Her mother died. Oh, okay. So I have had some trolls and some guys coming in on Facebook and other things saying they noticed I wasn't wearing a wedding ring and were harassing me. So when I'm live, I'm going to wear this. This is my grandmother's ring. This is real. That's real. The band is not, but it's a high quality fake. It was probably about $500 fake. I got it when I traveled when I was married. and I would only wear that, so if something happened, and it disappeared, it wouldn't have been as big of a deal. So, that's why I'm wearing that. But, you know, I have no suitors. I've been told I got a pretty face, but I'm a lard ass. I'm like, "Okay, you have 13 miscarriages, pop out 2 babies, survived cancer 3 times, and a lot of other stuff, and have rheumatoid arthritis, and you're still walking when you used to be in a wheelchair for 6 years, and tell me how much your body is gonna change." Is that better? I don't know why it's echoing. Is that better? I don't know who this is. I'm just gonna pop it up.
Richardson.
Oh, I gotta turn the sound off. Gotta be careful, y'all. I don't need to get in trouble. You know how that goes. So I don't know if this is the correct one or not. Oh, let's see. Thank you. Oh, what's her name? Oh, Heat 4. We're good. Yes, y'all go see the picture of this woman. What? I need to pull Discord up again. Don't want all the advertisement here. Mods here. Save image. Desktop. Save. Okay. Thank you. Here's Elizabeth. Aw. We'll point her out when she comes in. And she's still in high school? Holy Moses. Lord have mercy. She's talented. Okay, I am going to share this. This is the woman who, let me get here. I'm going to take this off. Stop share. Put this on. This is the woman who is the neuro medical examiner. That was the neuro medical examiner on the stand. Look at that. God almighty, 16-year-old. Well, a lot of them are real young in the Olympics. I hope she does well. We'll be rooting for her. She's our hometown girl. Thank you for telling me. Do you see this woman? Do you see this woman? I'm like, look at her. She's got neo green. I don't have a problem with the nails and the eyelashes, but covered in tattoos. And you show up like this to court? I'm like, here it comes, y'all. Are you ready? Bitch, please. Please. I just taught you sign language. Biatch, please. I was like, you're not going to a bar drinking. That's a dress. mini skirt dress. Yeah. No, those are like, I guess DNA, I guess. But I was like, "Girl, let me do your makeup." This is actually more flattering than some of the other pictures that we've seen. Yeah. It and her sleeve is beautifully done, but she's got a skull. I'm not saying you can't be like that in your private life, but you're on freaking national TV. You were being seen by millions of people. Please, you are not doing a whole lot for your profession. Everybody was like, ah. There was a lot of gasping. There was a lot. I have a friend. I emailed her another picture of her, and I said, "You're a doctor. Would you ever show up in court like this?" And she goes, "Hell, I wouldn't even go out drinking like that, and I don't know." I know, right? Were you a part of the party? No, she's in a different state. This is the one of the medical examiners. She specializes in the neuro, so anything to do with the brain, the spinal column, or the nerves. And she is highly intelligent. Highly intelligent. Yeah, she needs to pay for a dresser. She needs a professional dresser. What? It was like, I wanted to do this, but I couldn't get it to do. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I downloaded a bunch more stuff. Let's see how it goes. Can you hear this? Let me know if you can hear it. That's flute music.
Oh, no, you don't.
Did you hear that? It said, "Oh, no, you
No,
don't."
you don't.
I'm sorry, what?
You're hearing it? I'm sorry, what? Did you hear that?
I'm sorry, what?
You're hearing it? Let's see about this. Hear that? No? Did you hear that swoop? Go lay down, Sensei. Drum rolls. Gavel. Applause. Keep saying yes or no. Is that her? Is that her up there? That skinny little old thing? Yep, that was it. Oh, I love the chipmunk. Her name's Elizabeth, right? No, she's not in this first heat. Okay, let's try this. Can you hear the timer? How about crickets? I hope I don't get. She's in the lead. The one in the blue. Oh, that's her. Are you sure? Come on, baby. What did I do different? I loaded them differently, but I've got more to go through just in case. So, CG and text, that's not her, correct? I didn't see her name. Hmm. Y'all hear that? Okay, I think she's in the next heat. Hear the heartbeat?
Wait.
I love that voice.
Wait.
The guy was good.
So I think what I need to do is go back and edit and move them. I I I don't know. So y'all heard all that. Oh, hallelujah. I love this one. That's going to be for when the judge starts throwing her ass around. I guess I'll do the wiggle. I finally figured out the sounds. So I know they work. Do y'all hear this? Did you hear the happy birthday? If not, I got to get that. What about the please? No, that I'm sure. That laugh is too cute. I like the Irish music. By the way, I play the Irish whistle. I haven't played it in a while, but I do play it. So now I know those work. So what's this one? Oh, we don't want that one. The bomb timer cinematic whoosh. I'll do that between, I got to add that with my swoop. Orchestral low, slow heartbeat, sub, Irish, wait. Record whoosh, drum roll, gavel, applause. I like this applause better than this one. Depends. Oh, yeah. It'll be like what you can do is this. I can combine them. I'm not running this stage because I don't want to risk anything for long without a need. So, yay. So this weekend I'm going to work on getting this because what's nice is because once I get this all settled, I can change my modes from that to that to that to that to that to that. I can do markers on videos. I have a little counter you can't see, but I can count if we have a reason to count, like what, if any. We can count those. I can do share screens. If I have a screen to share, just push it. Live YouTube, share screen. Camera off, on. Mute off, on. So yeah. So if we're, if I'm sitting, well, so they got other stuff. They've got split windows going. So yay. Okay, while we're doing that, why don't we switch the screen share to the Karen Reed? And when the other race pops up, we'll hop on in, okay? So let's do this. Let's turn on the volume and listen.
You solemnly swear the evidence of the court and jury in the case now here to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Yes, it's called a Stream Deck. I have them also on my big thing over here, but I prefer them over here because they're right
Whenever
in
you're
front of me.
ready, Ms. Tulali. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning.
Morning, Doctor.
Good morning.
Dr. Scortybell, if I could ask you some
You have to download the sound.
questions, just turning back a little bit from what you were testifying to about yesterday. You had mentioned in your testimony yesterday that you had received some, in addition to the internal and external examination that you conducted of Mr. O'Keefe, you had received some other material that you had reviewed, correct?
Correct.
Now, included within that material was some material from the state police as far as the investigative agency investigating Mr. O'Keefe's death.
Correct.
Now, is that is that typical? Is that abnormal? If you could describe sort of in general terms.
Yes, this is
As far as
good
what, if any,
evening.
communication would you typically have with the investigating body or agency in relation to any sort of autopsy or examination you do?
Yes. In Massachusetts, under Massachusetts law, the medical examiner's office is responsible, and our role is to determine the cause and manner of death by doing an autopsy. The scene or the scene of death or the place where the decedent is found is controlled by the district attorney's office, and state police will do an investigation. When we accept a case into our office, we request reports, police reports, to explain and describe the circumstances of the death. It could be a house, it could be somewhere else, it could be outside.
I'm going to speed it up.
Every case comes with a police report, and we review that police report, and if we feel that we need more information, then we contact the investigating body and ask for more information, again, depending on the case.
And specifically in this case, in regard to Mr. O'Keefe, did you reach out to get some more information?
I did reach out, yes.
Was that in part in relation to what you were talking about in your testimony yesterday as far as the diagnosis of hypothermia and trying to sort of better understand the circumstances?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Why did you reach out?
I reached out because when the case was presented to us, and after I did the autopsy, I did not have all the information that I needed in order to certify the manner. The cause of death to me was, I was able to determine the cause of death from the autopsy. When an event is unwitnessed, we usually reach out to the investigating agency and ask them whether they have any more information than they did on the day that the autopsy was done, because investigations sometimes take some time. So in the days and the weeks following the autopsy, I reached out and asked if there was any more information. Correct.
Okay, this is not where I want to be,
And
guys.
as you just testified, bruising on the back of hands may be consistent with defensive wound.
Okay, this
You were asked
is
about
wrong
different
B.
possibilities with the skull fractures and bleeding in the brain. What is your opinion as to sort of how that was caused and sort of,
No,
if you could again just go through your opinion as to the head injuries, the skull fracture, and the bleeding?
Objection.
Ask it again, Mr. Lally, in a different way.
You were asked about some possibilities. What is your opinion as to how those injuries were sustained or manifested in this room?
I don't know how they came to be. I described them and I stated previously that they are consistent with a fall to the back of the head.
And so I'm sorry, doctor, my question is more geared towards as far as the single impact to the back of the skull and then sort of radiating fractures in the skull. If you could explain that in reference to the subdural hemorrhage, subarachnoid hemorrhage, and the ecchymoses that you observed.
Again, a single impact with a fall could cause all the injuries that we're seeing in the brain and the skull.
Okay, I know.
All right, doctor, you are all set. Thank you very much.
sorry, guys. My daughter is at the coast. The
All right, Mr. Lally.
boyfriend.
Thank you, Aaron. Commonwealth rest.
Oh, okay. We didn't have what I wanted there. So we're going to
So
go
I'm going to stop you right there.
back a little bit.
What you were testifying yesterday as far as the subscapular bleeding, the bleeding under the scalp, was that more or less prominent on one side versus the other side of Mr.
I don't
scalp?
know. I got to find it. If
Yes,
I
it was
can't
more
now, I'll
prominent
find it
under
later.
that laceration that we just looked at.
And so would that be more prominent on the right side? Is that correct?
Yes.
Was it yesterday they got real testy, Ronnie?
Now, you testified yesterday about a blunt objects injury in relation to the injury to the back of the head, then
Yeah.
leading to the fractures
Well
and the
rested.
bleeding in the brain, correct?
Correct.
And then further leading to the ecchymosis, is that correct?
In the eyes, yes.
Now, that blunt object, what, if anything, can you say about what that blunt object would be?
Where is it? I'm trying to
Be
find
any
it.
blunt object.
Now, from your training experience with reference to the number of autopsies and examinations that you've conducted over the years, would that blunt object's possibility include the ground, especially if it was frozen ground?
Objection.
Ask the question differently.
The injuries that you observed to the back of Mr. Oki's head, skull fracture, would that be
I'm
consistent
watching.
with a fall to the ground?
They're at
It could be.
13 minutes and
Would that be
57
consistent with
seconds.
being projected by an
And
object, saying a
she's not
pedestrian
in this
collision,
one,
and then striking
correct?
your head on the ground?
I didn't see her
possible.
name listed. I did not see her name listed at all in the list. Her first name's Elizabeth, right? And I can't keep them on long. I have to be very careful. We're at 14:44 on time. I didn't see that name. So that's there. Let me go back where they listed names. No, she's not listed. No, she's in the next one, my love. Okay, so we're back to the live. So I'm going to come off of it. I'm going to share this screen. I'm keeping an eye, okay?
The arm injuries that you observed, will those be consistent with scratches from either glass or a piece of plastic or a piece of metal?
It's possible.
That could work against him.
And the injuries that you observed, would that be consistent with injuries that you observed in other cases of a pedestrian collision?
They're not the classic pedestrian injuries that we
There we
observe.
are.
No.
There we are.
And to that point, as far as when you say classic, as far as pedestrian collision is concerned, you've conducted autopsies on a number of different pedestrian collisions over the course of your career. Is that correct?
Yes, I have.
Do they all sort of mirror each other? Is there sort of a disparity depending on how the person interacted with the car?
Objection. Sustained. Watch the form, Mr. Lally.
What, if anything, are every injuries from a pedestrian collision the same?
No.
And why not?
It depends on many factors. It depends on the position of the body, of the pedestrian or the person being struck. It depends on whether they are moving or standing still. It depends on the speed of the car. It depends on whether brakes were applied or not. There's a lot of factors that come into play.
Would another factor be sort of the shape of the vehicle that strikes a pedestrian?
That's also possible. Yes, that's a factor.
And did you have occasion to see any photographs, or have you seen any photographs in relation to the defendant's vehicle in this case?
I have seen photographs, yes.
And the size or shape of that vehicle, what, if any, significance did that have to you as far as your examination?
Objection. I'll allow it.
When we have a potential vehicle, clearly we look at the height, because one of the things that we do in most or all pedestrian or people struck by a motor vehicle is look at the legs, because in the majority we see injuries to the legs from the bumper of the car. Again, depending on the kind of car, the size of the car, and the height of the bumper. So in Mr. Keefe, I did not see any injuries in the lower extremities. And looking at the car, I did note that it was a much bigger car with much higher, I would say much higher taillight bumper. It was not a sedan or a car that's low to the ground where the bumper would be at the level of, let's say, the knee or slightly above or slightly below.
Didn't get what he wanted.
And again, I believe yesterday in your testimony, you indicated that the skull is a pretty thick bone. Is that correct?
Yes.
Sustained.
With regards to the thickness of the skull bone, what, if any, significance, or what, if any, what, if anything, you say as far as the type of...
Okay, guys, I'm going to say this. I said it earlier. They're focusing on bones. Oh, sorry. No one has focused, including the defense, on tissue damage from below the nipples down. No one is focused on tissue damage. No one's asking her, did you find any tissue damage? Was any of the tissue appeared to be red or bruised internally? Because, you know, when you get hit and then die pretty quickly, you may not bruise as much as normal. Did you see any evidence of tissue damage? Didn't ask.
amount of force that would be would be necessary to cause the fracture that you observed?
Objection. Overruled.
I would consider the amount of force to be significant, again, without being able to quantify it.
Can I have a moment, John?
Yes.
Here we go, y'all. Trying to get this full screen. There she is. Woohoo! All right, go girl, go girl. We're going to be cheering her on, y'all. It's going to take a little bit. It's going to take a hot minute on this, but y'all, let's cheer her on. Yep. Oh. So, are you friends? Are you related? Oh, she's got the blue sneakers on. Oh, she's not starting in the best of positions, is she? Not bad. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Go, 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 go. She's in the back of the pack, y'all. Ooh, come on, baby child. I get very competitive, y'all. Come on, baby girl. I'm going to expand this so I can see it better. I wish I had the music to Chariots of Fire. I'm going to try and put something on this, y'all. Just in case I have a sound issue. Come on, y'all. She is the little one. The little one in the pack. Blue sneakers on. She's kind of in the middle back. She's that little one on the outside next to the really tall black girl with the fluffy hair. She's number 9. Oh, she's a doll. I bet. She's got that stripe down the back of her leg. She needs to come around number 7. She needs to start working her way around shortly. They're all going to start vying for that pass. She needs to start passing. I used to do track. Yep, no sunglasses. See, number 5, she needs to be starting to do that. Come on, baby girl, start making it up. Come on. You can do this. Oh, please. Well, I guess everybody deserves their fair shake. Oh, I hate that they don't keep going. Mm. Well, baby girl, I know. As soon as we get done with this, we'll go. Good girl, go lay down. Come on, baby girl. You can do it. You can do it. Come on. Uh-oh. Ronnie, she is right. She's the little girl right second from the last right now. Right there, the little itty bitty one. Second from the last. But sometimes those girls, man, she's got 10 more minutes in this race to go. She can turn it on. I've seen them come up from the back before. But this is also her first Olympic trials. Am I correct? CGN text? And half of that, okay, just to protect me, we're going to do this. So, yeah, this is a big deal. Yes, that's right. They're still in the pack. So she might come forward, she may not. While we're doing that, put this back up while they're on commercial. Okay? When they come back.
Mr. O'Keefe, from the internal and external examination that you conducted in regard to Mr. O'Keefe, as well as the other materials that you reviewed, were you able to come to an opinion to a reasonable degree of medical certainty as to the cause of death of John O'Keefe?
Yes, the cause of death was due to blunt impact injuries of the head and hypothermia.
Thank you, Doctor. Your Honor, I have no further questions.
All right, cross-examination.
Okay.
Good morning, Dr.
Find
Spadillo.
Good morning.
Ms. Little, keep your voice up.
Absolutely. You test.
So we'll do that later. The Rust trial. We may not have time to get through that tonight. I don't know. I don't know how long y'all want to hang. I was hoping we'd have more viewers. But that said, y'all are my faves. Okay, here they go. Oh, she's kind of moved up a whittle. Congrats. She and number 7 are battling it out. Girl, she's got some long legs for a little girl. Yeah, I'm not. Not. Well, I'm not watching. I don't have a full one. The Rust one that I have, if I was to watch it, is only 30 minutes long. It's a condensed version. Come on, go Barney. Come on, baby girl. You're doing us proud no matter what happens. We are very proud of that young woman. Can you imagine where she'll be in 2 years if she continues? Even in 1 year? She looks so little. It's so hard being caught in the middle of the pack to get around it. She needs to get on the outside and start passing. She's halfway done. You got to start making your move, baby girl. But again, she may be small enough to push through the middle. Okay, guys, I got to do this. I'm not trying to be mean, but I need to take the break so I don't get caught. I know. Oh, they have. Oh, let's. I'll go back on that just a second. Watch. They did something special. Watch.
Elizabeth Leachman. What do you think's going through Elizabeth's mind right now? You see her there with some tape on her right hamstring.
You know, this is nothing what she imagined her Olympic trials experience was going to be like. I'm sure she thought she'd get on the back of a pack and maybe ride her way to a personal best, but instead she's being handed a very pedestrian race. But you know what? The longer it goes at this pace, the more of a chance she has to move on to the next round.
Sure. Again, top 6 in each semifinal will go through. Then there's 4 spots left on time.
Am I allowed? I paid for this service. Am I allowed?
On the edge, sitting shoulder to shoulder.
I don't know the rules.
With the race leader.
I don't know the rules. I don't know. I can't find how to look that up. Oh, okay. Well then, what the hell?
Six.
I'll delete
There
it
she is,
if
sits
I need
third
to.
at the moment.
You know, they've really let the time qualifiers go now. The first heat was pretty
Come
reasonable.
on, baby
I
girl,
felt like
let's
the second
go.
heat was going to be able to get those
Oh,
time
she's in the
qualifiers,
back.
but the way this has gone so slow, we're
Come
not
on,
probably
baby.
not going
Go
to
to
see
the
any
outside.
time
Yes,
qualifiers
ma'am.
from this
Go,
heat,
go, go,
which is
go, go,
dangerous.
go,
Now
go,
we
go,
finally
go,
see
go.
Josette Anders
Yes,
start to
ma'am.
move
Come
up.
on. You can do it.
She's had enough.
Come on, Bernie.
She does
All right.
not want to
Go
lead
to
this to a kick between 15 women.
right.
And
Right.
Oregon's
Don't let her
own
pass
Ella
you.
Donahue
Don't
looks
let her
number
pass you, baby
14 there,
girl.
blue bottoms, white top. There she is,
Oh.
putting herself in the mix. So if the time's not going to be there, you must be in those top 6 positions at the end of this second semi. They're inside the final 5 laps. And Elise Cranny now starts to tick up the pace a little.
She really does. And we see again, Andrews there kind of in third on the outside. She hasn't run on an outdoor track, raced on an outdoor track yet this year. She had a stress reaction, her 5th metatarsal in calcaneus, and she was going to race in June because training was going well and she was healthy, but she thought,
Come
you know
on,
what, I'm
Elizabeth.
still on
Let's
the
go.
upward trajectory with
Good
training.
job.
So
Come on,
she
keep moving
decided
up.
to
You
make
just
her
gotta
racing
get to
debut
the
of the
6.
outdoor season
Get
here
to the
in the
6.
prelim.
All you need, baby
She's
girl.
made 2 global teams, but they have not been in outdoor
Yes,
competition.
come on.
Elise
You're
Cranny
doing it.
has a quick look over at the big screen
Just pass
just to
2
see
more
who's
people.
close, what
That's
movement
3
has
or 4 to
happened
make
behind
it
her.
good.
She's been
Come
at the
on.
front the entire way.
And she's
Come
looked
on.
so calm. I mean,
Push
she knows
them.
what she's doing. She knows that she can kick with all of these women.
Come on,
That's
come
how
on, come
she's
on.
won her
Only 3
national
minutes. You
titles.
can
She
hang
was
in
so
there, girl.
incredible over
I'm
that
really
final
vocal. I'm
400
sorry.
meters. But
And I'm coming
she's
so I
had
don't
to
get in
just sit
trouble.
there and just
All right,
didn't want
baby
to
girl.
take
Come
it,
on.
didn't
You're
want to
almost
go out
there.
there and leave any
Don't
extra
give
energy
up.
up there. She is also planning on coming back in the 1500.
And look, there was a lesson learned for Elise Cranny in Budapest last year where she did the double. She did the
All right, they're picking
5,000,
up the pace, y'all.
10,000
Come on,
double.
go,
And she said
girl.
there were times
No matter
where
what,
I
she's
should
done us
have
proud.
just acted, maybe not even reacted. I should have gone for it, but I kind of sat for a little too long.
These old women are all in
at your next
college, aren't they?
opportunity, certainly at an Olympic trials or at a global meet, you'll certainly learn from that. So Elise Cranny being very decisive has set the pace right from the gun.
And now
Whoa,
I think
come
we're
on,
starting
baby
to
girl.
see
Come
this
on, come on,
wind
come
up.
on, come
They'll
on,
have
come
3
on.
laps to go
Just a couple
when
more
they come
laps.
across the finish line. And we start to see now it is starting to splinter.
She's starting to get
Elise Cranny
tired.
is starting to wind this thing up. That was a 71-second lap, by far the fastest lap we've seen in this race
Oh,
so
come on,
far.
baby.
Rachel Smith now going with her, the 32-year-old from Maine. Top 6 is the focal point. So
32-year-old woman from
breakaway
Maine and a
group here.
16-year-old girl's running.
Coming into
That
the
girl has
final
done
3
us
laps here at
proud.
Haywood Field.
And
And Lee,
she's
we talk about
separated.
St.
Oh,
Pierre
poor
being a mom. There are
baby.
2 Olympians in this field who are both moms. One is Rachel Smith and
Oh, 2
Abby
Olympians
Cooper.
in this field.
They
Oh,
both
my
made
God.
Olympic teams and both gave birth since the last Olympic cycle.
And did you see who is at the head of that second group? It's the 16-year-old Elizabeth Leachman. She's trying not to lose touch. There she is. Quick look at her watch.
Come on, baby girl.
That's quite the gap that she's got to make up.
Go. Kick it in. Come on.
And this
Go,
is
go,
what
go,
it looks
go.
like up the back stretch. And there are 8 women in this lead pack for 6 positions to go through to Monday's final of the women's 5K.
And now we
Come on,
see
baby
Chloe
girl.
moving up there too. They know they have to be in those top 6 positions. It just has not been fast enough. They let it dawdle way too long. They cannot be reliant on a time qualifier. That last lap was a 69. We start to see Elise Cranny.
Come on, baby girl. Come on, come on, come on. You can do it.
Running faster.
Natasha Rogers is falling off
Just
the back of
hold
the lead
it.
group in yellow. You
She
can
won't
see
make the
that.
Olympics, but man,
So
she's
now
done a
it's down
great
to
job.
7
She's done a
women
fabulous
for 6
job.
positions.
We are
And
proud
2
of
laps
her.
left of
She's
Haywood
in
Field.
9th place.
Ella Donahue. Number 14 there, center of your screen, looks strong. Caitlin Tui is now picking it up. And Cooper is grimacing
Just
a little
hold
to
your
stay
place,
with
baby
this
girl.
lead
You've
pack.
done us proud.
Elise Cranny looks so relaxed right now. This is what makes her special. She actually looks better and more comfortable the faster that she runs. She is so controlled. There's no pain in her face. She's just out here getting business done.
Oh, that's hard when you have a hamstring injury recovery this close to the trials. But look, she's alone.
Smith and
Oh,
Ella
she's
Donahue.
dropped back. Oh, she's 9th.
And then Emily Infeld. There's your 6. It's a clear breakaway. And this doesn't matter about the order. If they stay where they are, all 6 of these women are going through. They've dropped Abby Cooper, unfortunately for Abby. But here are the 6 from the second semi. And the entire race controlled by 28-year-old Elise Cranny. 1 to go.
I mean, Elise Cranny is just so good at what she does. She doesn't panic. Look at now, she's starting to pull away. This is where we normally see her attack the race. And you can see, almost like St. Pierre in that first
Y'all, this
she
girl
just
is going to be in the
creating
Olympics in
daylight,
the
creating
next
space
4
off of
years. She's
just a
got
few
4
strides.
years to get
Look at how this is
herself up
broken
and
down over
going.
the last 150
I'd love to
meters.
see her in the
There were
Olympics
7
next
women
time.
together a lap ago. And now it is splintered. It's Elise Cranny and everybody else. Rachel Smith and Ella Donahue.
That's experience there.
To hang on there
There's
for another
Olympians
200
in this
meters.
match.
Caitlin Toohey, Josette Andrews, Emily Infeld. There's a big enough gap back to Abby Cooper. And look at Elise Cranny. She's just told everybody else, I'll see you in the final of the women's 5,000
Exactly.
meters.
She's got to grow. The fact that she's 16 here, running for a bye into the Olympics, that's phenomenal.
Wow.
I want to see her cross. Come on.
Very slow pace to begin, and for the majority of it, maybe the first 2/3 of it.
Yep.
And then it just lit up.
It really did. And it really was just a masterful race by Cranny, showing why she is the 3-time U.S. champion in this event. She just kept taking it up a notch when she needed. But in that last lap, she just opened up, and see how beautiful her stride looks right now. This is the way she wants to feel throughout the race. But
Good job, baby girl.
Do it later in the race. She found herself having to lead the entire thing. 62.8 last lap, Lee. And that's why you see that distance she put on everybody in that final 400 meters.
Look at the composure.
Well, so proud of her.
Elise Cranny in control. As we rejoin Trey and Paul and Polvo, guys.
Let's see if they interview her. They may.
American record holder Casey Lightfoot. He's on the runway. He has only 1 attempt now to clear 8.
And Bourne, we'll see them. 5,000 final. It's going to be a showdown between Ellie St. Pierre and Elise Cranny. There's Elise there. Time to rehydrate after a terrific victory. All 4 time qualifiers, by the way, came from the first semi. That's Rowe, Wasserman.
Okay, guys. Elizabeth, darling, you did great. So proud of you. We will welcome you back. And Bernie, I may even go when you come back. I'm probably going to do something for her. Okay, guys, it's 9 o'clock. The video I have is 30 minutes long. It is a good synopsis as to what happened with the Russ trial. Are you or are you not game? Now, CG, are you related to her? I didn't catch that. I'm game. Okay. We shall. And let's play. Oh, that's good. Okay, here's the beginning.
One has no standing to oppose use immunity of Ms. Gutierrez, and that's laid out in State versus Brown, 126 New Mexico 338. And I imagine that's the reason that their response indicated really that their complaint was that it wasn't timely, and didn't really articulate any other objections, and that's because they're aware that they don't have standing to present any other objections. So to kind of back up, Ms. Gutierrez, as the court can see from the pleadings, was initially named on the state's witness list in February. She was then named on the defendant's witness list in April, and I believe she was also named on the defendant's witness list in May. She was scheduled for a pretrial interview after some difficulty, and I personally intervened and set up that interview, even though it was the defendant's responsibility. So we interviewed her, and as the court can see, when we interviewed her, I would certainly argue inappropriately, her attorney instructed her to assert her Fifth Amendment privilege to questions that did not trigger.
Just a minute. Is there a reason why the attorneys are not on video? Under our rules, you're required to be on video when we're doing hearings.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I just kind of lost my train of thought. So she was scheduled for a pretrial interview. We interviewed her. Mr. Bowles instructed Ms. Gutierrez to assert her Fifth Amendment privilege when questions were posed to her that didn't really trigger her Fifth Amendment privilege. The state is not seeking information from Ms. Gutierrez about her criminal conduct. The state is seeking information from Ms. Gutierrez about the criminal conduct of Mr. Baldwin. The court can see from the transcript of the interview, at one point, Ms. Gutierrez just asserted her Fifth Amendment privilege without the assistant attorney. And when I mentioned to Mr. Bowles, I said, you're not really advising her to assert her Fifth. She's just doing it on her own. And he said, well, I think she can do that. So we have Ms. Gutierrez, who doesn't understand the circumstances in which she gets to assert her Fifth Amendment privilege, just asserting it, and her attorney not counseling her on that. So the bottom line is, it took a long time to schedule the pretrial interview. That's the fault of Mr. Baldwin's counsel and Ms. Gutierrez's counsel, not ours. They listed her, I believe, initially on April 19th. We requested her pretrial interview on April 21st. We didn't create any delay at all. Her interview was scheduled, and Mr. Bowles did exactly what Mr. Baldwin's counsel wanted him to do, which was just have her assert the Fifth to everything, because they don't want her to testify. She is listed on their witness list, and they presented her for a pretrial interview, but they don't want her to testify. They want to get her statements in as exceptions to hearsay. And certainly what the state is arguing to the court is that the hearsay statements that the defendant wants to present to the jury, those are statements that have to do with Ms. Gutierrez's culpability, and they are absolutely exculpatory to Mr. Baldwin, and they go to causation in this case. It's perfectly appropriate for them to present those statements. I'm not objecting to that or arguing that point at all. But what I am saying is that in turn, the state is also allowed to present testimony from Ms. Gutierrez that goes to Mr. Baldwin's culpability. She has probably more information than any other witness with regard to Mr. Baldwin's culpability. We are simply asking that we also be able to present testimony and evidence from Ms. Gutierrez. The defendant intends to do it. There's no question about it. So the first thing that needs to happen here is we need to have some kind of a question by question determination from the court as to which questions Ms. Gutierrez even can lawfully assert her Fifth Amendment privilege. Once the court decides, okay, this is the category of questions where I believe she can assert her Fifth Amendment privilege, then we make a determination about whether or not she should have use immunity to answer those questions. That's not terribly difficult. Her pretrial interview, as the court can see, was relatively short. I think it was 20 or 30 minutes. So we need to have a hearing. We need to have the court determine, or the court potentially could even do it from the transcript. Have the court just determine what she needs immunity for. At this point, a lot of the questions that we would ask her, she doesn't even need immunity for. She's just a normal witness. She's on the witness list. She's been interviewed. We put her on the witness stand. We ask her the questions, and she's required to answer them under penalty of perjury. There's no reason when she's posed a question, for example, was Mr. Baldwin attentive during the firearms training that you provided? How does that trigger her Fifth Amendment privilege? What did your firearms training with Mr. Baldwin consist of? How does that trigger her Fifth Amendment privilege? So this is just something that we need to get ironed out so that the jury can have all of the information that the jury needs, that the jury is entitled to, and we don't create a situation where Ms. Gutierrez's statements only come in with regard to the exculpatory value they have for Mr. Baldwin. They also need to come in with regard to the inculpatory value that they have with regard to Mr. Baldwin. Thank you.
Mr. Baldwin. I mean Bowles, sorry.
Your Honor, and as a
That
preliminary
was
matter,
good.
Judge, can you hear me?
Yes.
Judge, I want to make sure. Okay, I'm having poor internet connectivity, so I hope this doesn't affect it. Judge, I want to start by saying that first of all, the assertion of privilege was on behalf of Ms. Gutierrez Reed, who wanted to assert her privilege. It wasn't on behalf of anybody else. She has a currently pending appeal, as this court knows, so she has a conviction that is not yet finalized, and the cases are very clear. She can invoke a privilege as to questions that may tend to incriminate her. I agree with the state. She cannot invoke as to all questions if those do not have a tendency to incriminate her. However, when Ms. Gutierrez Reed invoked it on her own at the interview, Ms. Morrissey also said in the transcript, and she left that out in the interview, I think she can invoke that. So that's what happened there. That was May 14th. Your Honor, preceding May 14th, on or about May 8th, it was a confusing situation because Ms. Morrissey had told me that on a Sunday, an email that she would stipulate to unavailability, or thought she would stipulate to unavailability, so that the statements can come in through that exception. So I thought it was going to be a stipulation. Then there was confusion on the interview date. Then I had scheduling issues, so we got it set up. Next, Your Honor, on May 14th, we got the indication from Ms. Morrissey that she wanted to file a motion to force use immunity, which under Rule 5-116, this court unquestionably has that authority and discretion to do that. Now, Your Honor, in a normal case, and the cases cited in that rule, Bellinger and some others, this court can force use and derivative use immunity, which I do not believe should be selective, as the state indicates, because the problem we get in there is that on cross-examination, questions may be asked, then Ms. Gutierrez Reed may have to invoke in the middle of trial. If that were to happen, her testimony could be stricken. So I think if this court were to order use and derivative use immunity, it would have to be blanket as to the trial testimony and cross-examination, I would submit, to avoid those issues. But Your Honor, that's in the normal case. This will be most likely the most publicized trial in the history of New Mexico, or at least one of them. And because of that, we have submitted in our briefing, this is not the typical case. If Ms. Gutierrez-Reed testifies, there's no current restrictions about what could be asked of her, including on cross-examination. That testimony will undoubtedly be watched by millions of people. Currently, Ms. Gutierrez-Reed is set for trial in front of Judge Ellington in August. We have moved to continue that, Your Honor, but that is a separate matter involving alleged bringing a gun into a bar. There's no protections as to Ms. Gutierrez-Reed on that trial, because even if this court were to order use and derivative use immunity completely, that testimony she gives will be watched and heard by potential jurors, and there's really no way to prevent that. Now, the government says we can do a motion to change venue if there's an issue. But again, that raises the issue, Your Honor, this is going to be widely publicized across not only the state of New Mexico, but the country. So that's a very real concern Ms. Gutierrez-Reed has. She's also, and the state really didn't touch on the separate Ellington trial, Judge Ellington trial, but that is a very real concern of hers, that if she's asked on cross-examination questions related to that, it really imperils her ability later to defend herself in that proceeding. We also have the appeal, Your Honor, which we don't know what will happen on that, but if it's remanded, the state gets a complete opportunity to cross-examine or examine Ms. Gutierrez-Reed on matters she would have never had to say going into that trial. So while the court unquestionably has the discretion, I would submit, Your Honor, that because she is unavailable and statements can be introduced by both parties, there is another way the court can handle this and avoid the potential constitutional issues that may arise in the future with her right to a fair trial in front of Judge Ellington, and perhaps in front of this court if the appeals court reverses this case. So I think there's another way this could be handled for the testimony to be obtained by both parties.
I'm going to allow the defendant to respond. I think that under State versus Brown, they can take a position. Let me read that case. All right, so I think that you can oppose the motion, and I'm going to listen to it. Go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. So I will be brief. The issue that we have is with respect to the prejudice due to the timing of the state's request for use immunity. As the state has noted, Ms. Gutierrez-Reed was actually on the state's witness list as far back as February. She was also on the defense witness list. And you know, the state could have made this application months ago, because the situation is that Ms. Gutierrez-Reed did not testify in her own trial. And so there were no new statements that were available to the state after the trial that were not already available to the state for the past nearly 3 years. So they were aware of the situation. And they even, it sounds like from Mr. Bull's representations, the state even indicated that they were willing to stipulate to unavailability without taking her statement, which would have then, resulted in, the same position we would have been in without the grant of use immunity. But the state was aware of this. They were aware of this 50 witnesses ago. They were aware of this 3 years ago, and they had her listed. So at this point, the state now, as they're making all of these many numerous disclosures, they disclose us all of these, phone calls from Ms. Gutierrez-Reed, again, that we cannot possibly have the time to go through in advance of a pretrial interview of her, because what the state is indicating is they think she has much more information than the statements that have already been provided. But we don't have access to those statements. We would need to interview her. So she's effectively becoming a new witness that now we would have to interview and prepare for her at trial. And so the state had every ability to do this sooner. And we would ask that the court consider some of the items that were also in that I know were contained in some of the other filings that the defense has submitted with respect to the volume of new disclosures that the state has made, and the prejudice that the defense will suffer if we now have to approach this new, rather substantive witness when we're talking about just 10 days, 10 business days before trial. Additionally, the state has indicated that they requested her interview right away and they weren't responsible for any delay. I think that needs some clarification, Your Honor, because the defense initially had subpoenaed Ms. Gutierrez-Reed for a statement. There were some scheduling issues based on availability. The defense actually was working with and contacting the prison facility, and we did have that set up, but then the interview had to be canceled based on availability of Ms. Gutierrez-Reed's counsel, and she does have a right to have counsel present. So that had to be moved. In the interim, as we were setting up the next one, Ms. Morrissey indicated that she wanted a deposition instead of a statement. And so she needed to file a petition before the court. The defense took no position on that, but informed Ms. Morrissey that if that's something that she wanted, she would need to petition the court for that, as is the appropriate criminal procedure under the rules. She did not do so, but that did cause part of the delay. And then ultimately the interview was scheduled with Ms. Gutierrez-Reed, did take place, and the defense also provided the information to the prison facility with the links for her appearance. And so we would just ask the court to note that there was nothing that prevented the state from petitioning this court for use immunity. And that is our sole objection at this stage, is the fact that they could have done this while we still had the time to conduct a full investigation of what her statements would be without prejudice to the defense. But now here we are in the 11th hour on the eve of trial, and the state is making motions for use immunity that will basically provide this witness who would be one of the most significant of the trial. And we are definitely prejudiced by this late request, and we would ask the court to deny the state's application for immunity, at least specifically with respect to the timing and the prejudice that this would cause the defense of Mr. Baldwin at this stage. And he is entitled to a fair trial and to an opportunity to prepare and present an adequate defense.
But not
All
at the
right, before
cost
you
of
reply,
the
I have a
case.
question for Mr. Bowles. Is she going to use that use of immunity, or does she just plan to not take advantage of it?
And Your Honor, I really apologize. It noted that my internet was having connectivity. I heard part of the court's question.
Does Ms. Gutierrez, all right, does Ms. Gutierrez, to your knowledge, have any intent to answer the questions if given immunity based upon that? I mean, I'm looking at the interview. She didn't cooperate.
Your Honor, she doesn't want to be cooperative in this case. I understand the court can order under use immunity, blanket use immunity testimony, but she does not want to answer the questions.
Reply, Ms. Morrissey.
Your Honor, if the court were to grant the motion for use immunity and Ms. Gutierrez were to refuse to follow the court's order, then she's held in contempt of court. Witnesses don't just get to refuse to follow the court's order. She refuses, she's held in contempt of court. We will be asking for additional jail time. That's how this goes. I will start by, it's baffling to me, absolutely baffling to me, that there is a defense attorney in this hearing opposing immunity for his own client. If that is not an indication that he is acting as an arm of Mr. Baldwin's defense team, I don't know what is. And listen,
Your Honor, that's inappropriate.
I think it's absolutely true.
Okay, let's move on.
It's
Keep
actually
going.
not.
You all, it's her turn. Let's keep going.
Mr. Bowles has told the court, look, it's really complicated, Judge, for us to do it the right way, for us to put her on the witness stand and have her, outside the presence of the jury, or set a hearing and have her outside the presence of the jury, figure out what she can answer and what she can't answer. So you have to do it blanket. Okay, do it blanket. I'm not opposing that. Mr. Bowles' suggestion, if that's what he thinks is the best way to do it, you can absolutely issue blanket use immunity. She has to answer every single question under the court's authority. If she doesn't do it, she suffers the consequences of that. Mr. Bowles continues, even in the Baldwin case, to present information to the court that is patently false, and he's doing it again. He is in this hearing telling this court that these lawyers, the defense attorneys and the state, are going to be able to ask any question of his client. Well, the rules of evidence only permit us to ask relevant questions of his client. Every lawyer who questions Ms. Gutierrez at trial will be subject to the rules of evidence, will be permitted only to answer appropriate, relevant questions, those questions that are determined by this court to be appropriate. The Ellington case is just a red herring. There is nothing about that separate case that is relevant to this case at all. I would be stunned if the court found otherwise. This is a completely different thing. It didn't have anything to do with her participation on the movie set. She was in the city of Santa Fe as just an individual. She wasn't working, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Not to mention the fact that Ms. Gutierrez has another case pending in front of Judge Ellington because of her own conduct. So we don't turn around and say, state, you can't use her as an incredibly important witness because she's got this other case pending. She has another case pending because she seems to have committed additional criminal offenses. That's kind of the way it goes. With regard to Mr. Baldwin's argument that there is prejudice based on the timing, let me tell you, Judge, I was not aware that I was going to need a motion for use immunity. I was not aware that Mr. Bowles was going to show up to a pretrial interview and instruct his client to assert her Fifth Amendment privilege to questions that do not trigger the Fifth Amendment privilege assertion. Now, based on my experience with Mr. Bowles in the Gutierrez case, maybe I should have anticipated that, but I did not. So I didn't learn of that until we finally got the pretrial interview done. Ms. LeBlanc's statement about the short period of time that the state was considering asking for a deposition, that didn't create any delay at all. At that point in time, Ms. Gutierrez was already scheduled for a pretrial interview. That pretrial interview was never canceled up until Mr. Bowles indicated that he had scheduling difficulties. So the pretrial interview was scheduled. We talked briefly about having a deposition. We reached out to Mr. Baldwin's counsel. We asked for their position on that. They said they took no position on it. And I said, okay, I guess we'll set her for a deposition. Then they said, no, we're not opposing it, but we think that you need to get the court's approval. I'm not creating that delay. They're creating that delay. And at the end of the day, we said, look, we'll just go ahead and interview her on the day that she set, which was May 9th. Actually, I think it was May 10th. So we agreed we'd go ahead and interview her on that day. The interview was never canceled. Mr. Bowles canceled the interview. We got her scheduled on the 9th. Mr. Bowles canceled the interview. We were trying to get her reset. And because I sort of had this feeling like if you want something done right, you better do it yourself, I did it myself. And I finally ended up getting my pretrial interview, wherein Mr. Bowles unlawfully instructed his client to assert her Fifth Amendment privilege to nearly every single question that was asked of her. So to say the state should have just been able to anticipate this roller coaster ride is absolutely ridiculous. Now, with regard to the jail calls were provided weeks ago. I know how long it takes to listen to the jail calls because I've had to pay my investigator to do it. There are two lawyers on the state side. There are 10 lawyers on the defendant side, and they have at least one investigator.
My
So
God.
if they can't get that under control relatively quickly, I'm not sure what to say. We are not, I want to make clear, we are not asserting that Ms. Gutierrez has a whole bunch of additional information that nobody's ever heard of. She is specifically being called by the state so that she can simply give the jury the information that she already provided to law enforcement and to OSHA with her lawyer's advice to waive her Fifth Amendment
I'll be
privilege.
right back. I got a potty
So
little girl.
those are the things that we're asking to get in through her testimony. There's one other statement that she made in a jail call that was specifically provided to the defense. They don't need to go listen to 300 and some of them to find that. We gave them the number. We showed them exactly where it was. Now, at the end of the day, when the defendant comes to court and says, Judge, we don't have enough time, we're prejudiced because we don't have enough time, I want to take the court back to the hearing that we had on February 20th, where we were talking about scheduling, and the court suggested that the trial be scheduled in October, and the state suggested that the trial also be scheduled in October, and it was Mr. Spiro, it was the defendant, who said, no, we need to have a trial in June. They wanted a trial last month. They got a trial this month, and they continue to come to court and say, Judge, we don't have enough time. They don't have enough time because they asked to have the trial set too soon in a case that has massive discovery. With regard to any of their complaints about all of these documents that have been provided, I have to tell you, Judge, when they indicate in their arguments that they received this massive amount of discovery, what happened was we realized that not all of the lapel videos were in our possession and therefore were not in the defendant's possession. So as soon as we realized that, we got those videos from the sheriff's department, we uploaded them, we provided them, and we realized that the vast majority of those videos were duplicative. So what was happening is two police officers were conducting an interview. The defendant didn't have the lapel camera from one of the officers, but they did have the lapel video from the other officer who was present for the interview. So a lot of their complaints about this stuff was coming in late, they're really over exaggerating any potential prejudice that they could have possibly had from any of that. And again, they asked for a June trial because of my objection. The court gave them a July trial when we were intending to have an October trial. So if they don't have enough time, there is a remedy. They can ask for a continuance. Thank you.
Whoa! Snap it.
All right, the court makes the following ruling to be followed up by an order of the court to be filed next week. The state denies the state's amended opposed expedited motion for use of immunity for Hannah Gutierrez. It's pretty clear that she does not intend to cooperate. The court may grant use immunity pursuant to Rule 5116 if the court finds the testimony may be necessary to the public interest and the person has refused or is likely to refuse to testify. So it's really the public interest portion that I'm going to address because she has indicated that she won't testify. You've indicated that she possesses information about what she already told the investigators. I don't think that there is anything that, I haven't heard of anything that she might testify to that someone else could not testify to, even about her observations. Maybe the only portion is that talking about how Mr. Baldwin didn't, didn't want to be trained, things like that, which she could probably answer without the use of immunity. But, the state says, well, the simple solution after she refuses to answer, even though she's been given immunity, is that you can hold her in contempt. I'm not going to do a mini trial within a trial. And I think that when all is said and done, if she's going to be an unavailable witness, then we're at the 11804 evidence rule on unavailable witnesses. So I think you should prepare accordingly.
Okay, let me explain why. Good question. Good question. The reason why is because two parts. She has an appeal out there. Okay? Think about it. An appeal that could be damaged if she testified. And there are two more cases, literally, that are not two more, one more case that's against her right now because she stupidly took a firearm into a bar. Yeah. Can you imagine taking a freaking firearm into a bar? Would not protect her appeal. And they said they would give her immunity, but it won't protect the appeal and it would not protect the case at the bar. That's simple. I'm going to cover the trial. I have my own personal opinion, but once again, I'm not going to share it. But y'all, I have officially been on for 13 hours. Well, no, I had a 2-hour break. I've been on for 11 hours. And amazingly, my back doesn't hurt. Let me try something. Did you hear this? Everybody was doing them. Did you hear that?
Oh, no, you don't.
That's the oh no.
Oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't.
Are y'all hearing that at all? I have got to, oh great, I'm going to test a few of these real quick before y'all go. Just to make sure, because I've been working in the background, y'all may have noticed. I've been working in a coal mine, going on down, working in a coal mine. Oop, I got to slip down. Okay, got that. Oh, you're welcome. Let's see. Do we hear this? I'm just going to do one per page. Cricket. Record scratch. Time bomb. Swoosh. Are y'all hearing any of that? Well, I'm moving pretty fast. Let me see the one before the crickets. Record scratch. Crowd. Applause. Oh, the whoosh. No. I have another one. I have to find it. Do you hear the happy birthday?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lisa. Happy birthday.
No crowd. That's the crowd. I won't use that one probably. One I'm going to use a lot. We'll play with them. How about the hissing whoosh? Yep, me too. We'll play with this a little more, but this is easier. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, everybody. Y'all have a great night. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining. See you later. Monday for sure. Do we know the schedule for next week?
This guy was good.
Wait.
Love that voice.
I'm sorry, what?
Do we know at all? So is it, what day are we off? Because I need to create my planned lives. Sensei. Did you toot? You tooted. I smell it. Who? Yes. All right, guys. We shall see you. Have a fabulous evening. And I'm going to go out of here because I'm tired of my other stuff on the Irish jig.